I took more HemoHIM than usual because I had really busy days recently. I took 4 sachets of HemoHIM before I came up onto the stage. I believe that this lecture will be really energetic. Actually, HemoHIM was developed thanks to the investment from the atomic research in Korea, and a lot of doctors and researchers took 8 years to develop this product. This is the fruitful result of these endeavors and contributions. But back then, in the initial stage, there was no way to sell it. So at first, atomic energy research developed this, and there were some articles on the newspapers, and that they said that they were waiting for some calls to come, but they didn't. And back then, I read an article and I watched a news article, and I called to one of them, one of the atomic energy research members, and I asked, please let me sell the product. And he said, yeah, I know you're really good at selling sales. Yes, because back then I was a car component salesman, and I was really famous for as a salesman, global salesman. So I said, yes, I'm really I'm really good at it. And he said, and then let me introduce you to the CEO of HemoHIM, and please help him sell the products. So back then, there were a lot of news articles, and they expected that there will be a lot of sales, but it wasn't, so that they were about to going bankrupt. So they said the sales was only 500 boxes a month. For one manufacturer, they could manufacture at least 3,000 boxes. So the one batch was 3,000, but their monthly sale was only 500. So when they manufacture one rose, they needed to sell it for 6 months, and then the factory will be operated only twice a year. So they were about to going bankrupt.
And what was the price? $770 for 60 packets. Then 5 boxes are sold to those who have a lot of money, who are rich, and those who are cancer patients, and those who got this information. So they sold 500 boxes only every month. And I listened to him. I feel like this product is really good. So I thought that we can lower the price, and he said he put a lot of research. He spent a lot of time and money for the research. But if you sell only 500 boxes a month, then you cannot actually pay for that research. And this is the money that you spend for the research is a sunken cost, which means you already spent the money. For example, you book a movie ticket, but you feel like you don't really like the movie, but because you feel like the movie ticket, you spend the money for the movie ticket and you stay there. It's not smart. You are not smart then. So you can get out of that movie theater if you don't like the movie, right? So I said that we can increase the audience, the number of audience. So it is a health functional food. It can prevent some diseases. It is not for treatment. So healthy people can also have it, right? And that means we need to lower the price, I said. So I suggested him lower the price dramatically. And 500 boxes is not enough. So your goal should be 100,000 boxes to calculate the cost. And he couldn't really believe it because he have sold only 600 boxes, 500 boxes for 6 months. But I was saying that we can sell, we can lower the price to sell 100,000 boxes. And the possibility was only 1% at the time. We had 99% of failure, but you still have the 1% of possibility to succeed. So I try to persuade him, you can select one. And he got it. He understood it. So he said we can go for 100%. And that means we need to lower the price, I said, so that anyone can buy it. So my threshold for the price is, what was my threshold standard? When you go to a supermarket, then you can see some boxes for health functional food. What are the prices of them? They are about $150. So it's for holiday gift for elderly people. So I said we can go for that price, but or even lower than that, so that everyone in Korea can have it as a health functional food, and you should also compete against their competitors, and the price should be lower. And the quality is already recognized, as our Vice President Yoon Yong-sung explained before. Quality is already guaranteed. So the only thing that we should do, is to lower the price. So our goal was to sell 100,000 boxes a month, and I said we can lower the price by 90% from $770 to about $70 or $80. So I said we can lower the quantity from 60 packets to 30 packets. And the price is $88, right? About $88 for 60 packets. That is the current price. And we can lower the quantity to 30 packets. And later on, I try to increase the number of packets from 30 to 42, 48, 54, 54 packets. And CEO Kim said we cannot increase any further. We cannot increase the number of packets any further. And I said, okay, we can stop here. We can stop here, I said. But still, I did a lot of lectures saying that we can sell like 60 packets for one box, because 60 packets is the right number, because you can have it for 1 month and with 2 packets every day. And I always said that in my lecture, not directly. I didn't really say that directly to him, but I always talked about 60 packets in my lectures. And actually, he watched the lectures and he said, okay, I can go with the 60 packets. And I said, no way. Are you okay? And he said, you did a lot of lectures talking about 60 packets. Of course, they did the calculation. When we increased the packets from 30 packets to 48 packets, then the logic went that the sales should decrease. But what happened? We got a 30% increase in sales, no loss. And when we increased it to 48%, we got another 20-30% increase in sales. And same thing happened. So I guess they were thinking that they can increase the sales by increasing the number of packets. I guess they did the calculation. That is why we have 60 packets for one box. at about $88. In a supermarket, you can see a lot of health functional food. A box about $150, but it's cheaper. Our HemoHIM is cheaper than that. But you might say that those competitors have larger boxes, larger packets. Of course, that can be done. We can also do that by adding a lot of water. But we are not doing that because water is something that you can add by yourself. So we are having a very concentrated HemoHIM rather than adding more water to increase the size of box. So if you want to have bigger boxes, bigger packets, then you can add water by yourself for HemoHIM. In Korea, for thousands of years, ginseng has been the #1 export item in health functional food. From the Goryeo dynasty, Hongsam, which is ginseng, has always been #1 in export items. But recently, HemoHIM took that place. And HemoHIM became the most representative health functional food, and it is contributing to improving health for global citizens. And HemoHIM is recognized from the very first stage that it can improve immunity. We have a lot of papers, and we saw the Dr. Jo Seung-gi in the video, right? He is the chief researcher for the research. And he put a rat in a container with water. A container with water and rat. And one rat had the HemoHIM, and the control group, had only water, and they kept swimming. And when they are exhausted, they cannot swim anymore, and they would die eventually. But which one would die first? Those only with water died first. So the test result shows that HemoHIM can improve fatigue for muscles. This is something that we already proved in our paper, but it took some time for us to be recognized for that function from Korean FDA. So we've been consuming HemoHIM so far, and these functions are something that we have felt by ourselves. You can see many people saying that they felt the function. When I visited the US, one man said that he has a dog, but the dog is very old. As the dog is very old, he couldn't take him to overseas countries. So his neighbor helped him taking care of the dog, and he traveled to other countries. And the dog is always exhausted. It doesn't really have a lot of energy. That is why the neighborhood helped him taking care of the dog. But after coming back home, he found that the dog is very, very energetic, and he asked the neighbor why. And the neighbor said, I am having the HemoHIM, and after having one, I gave the rest of the HemoHIM to the dog. And The dog once felt exhausted every day. It became very energized, and I don't think it is not violation of the relevant law, because I'm not talking about a human, I'm talking about a dog, right? I didn't really see that dog in person, but I heard that story in the US. That the story shows HemoHIM is very helpful for improving fatigue and immunity.